We are now joined in the studio by SABC sports producer, Sipho Kekana. Kekana, welcome to AM News.
Thanks very much for having me, Maruma.
We all know all roads in Johannesburg leads to Soweto, to actually Soccer City this afternoon, where Kaizer Chiefs will be up against Orlando Pirates. What do you make of this clash, though?
I think it's very good to see that there's still a lot of excitement in the local football from our fans. Tickets were sold out long time, a few weeks ago. So the excitement that we still have in the country is very, very encouraging. And I think it's going to be an exciting game. Exciting game, I'm saying, because of the engagement with the fans.
I guess also even the World Cup, the fact that, I mean, the World Cup, everyone comes from the World Cup with that high spirit, and also the fans are expecting a lot from this one. But let's talk about the game winners. Let's talk about the strikers. Majoro won it for Kaizer Chiefs last season. This season is with the mighty Buccaneers. Do you, like in the striking force, who do you think is likely to take this one?
You mentioned Majoro there. I think he's going to be Pirates' trump card today. He's going to go out on the field and make sure that he wants nothing less than a goal against his former employers. Kaizer Chiefs, I was actually criticized the other time when I said there's no Kaizer Chiefs without Knowledge Musona, but then they lost the league title. Because Musona was injured, so I was vindicated there. So today again, Musona is not there, and I think Chiefs is going to miss him a lot. They're going to struggle with the absence of Spirit Chabalala as well. It's going to be very, very tough for Chiefs. They have had a very good preparations leading up to this match in the Eastern Cape, beating Chippa United. But I think Pirates will have the edge, the Majoro factor. And I think I think Pirates will have the edge over Kaizer Chiefs, and they will actually reclaim this cup today.
But also let's look at the issue of Orlando Pirates, mainly looking at the defenders. I mean, many critics have pointed fingers at the likes of Lucky Lukhati. He's old, he's slow. Bongani Khumalo towards the end of what's his name? The defender, Khumalo. You also Sabonga Khumalo. He also hurt himself. He got an injury, and for the better part of the season, he was not that active. What do you make of Pirates coming into this one?
I think the fans have actually sent out a very strong message with regard to Lekhwati. He has not received enough votes to get him into the starting lineup, and I think that's a very strong message from the fans to the technical team going to the season to say, you know what, we need younger players in the defense. We need more vibrant, more active younger players in the defense. So yeah, and Chiefs on the other side, I think they've looking at their lineup, they've retained their actual team that competed last season. They're back for Mashamaite, Matoho, Masilela, Pagat. That's more like their team anyway. But like I said, the hard work that Musona has always been able to put into the Chiefs side will be missed. Well, Katandi will be there, working very hard in the middle field, and perhaps that's a message, or that's another message that something that we need to learn as South Africans. You have two Zimbabweans, Musona and Katandi, whose work rate is
phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. I think if the South African players could actually learn that from our neighbors, we could go somewhere.
Okay, actually I was talking about Sabonga Sangweni. That's the guy that I was referring to. But now let's move to today's issue. I mean, this is on everyone's lips. Who is going to lead Bafana Bafana? Names have been thrown around, the Stephen Keshis of this world, Carlos Quiros. So who do you tip will actually take this one? Maybe you have the inside info on this.
Arumo, what is worrying about this whole issue is the fact that over the last couple of years, the country seemed to have unanimously agreed that it does not matter who you bring as a coach. The country has accepted that we need to start addressing our development. We need to start developing our own identity. SAFA as well bought into this idea. They've held the symposium, the SAFA Lekgotla, and they've engaged local coaches, and decisions were taken that we need to develop our own identity first. Now, it was worrying that despite all those agreements, in the face of all the facts, we still make the same mistake that we made over the years.
What are those mistakes, Sipho? Because look, for me, I'm looking at the next 4 years, where to from now. We failed to qualify for all the important competitions that we felt as a country that Bafana need to be participating there.
Sure.
We brought international coaches. We tried our own coaches locally.
That was the mistake. That was the mistake. I've always said that if you have walls that crack all the time, you do not have to fix the roof. Go to the foundation, check your walls. And Bafana is like our roof. We cannot address Bafana. The moment we are able to create our own identity and develop players according to that philosophy, then we will be able to produce players that can compete with the best in the world.
So are you saying now in the next 4 years, we should rather, as a nation, not really get excited or hopeful about Bafana doing better going forward, seeing that you're talking about the grassroots problems that we have of development and the likes?
A few years ago, when I spoke to Farouk Khan, he said to me, Sipho, Bafana have actually hit rock bottom. And when you are rock bottom, there are two ways, either sideways, which is either to remain at the bottom or go up. And he said, I hope we'll go up. But I've come to realize that he was actually wrong. We are still going to see even worse days with regard to our football. The issue of today, they are going to announce the Bafana coach, and then later they will announce the technical director. Now, common logic will tell you that you need a technical director first to engage with the executive. With the executive, and recommend and approve perhaps the appointment of the coach. And we don't have that.
But now, like I said earlier on, names have been thrown around. We spoke of Stephen Cage of Nigeria, Frank Rijkaard of Netherlands, and Carlos Queiroz. Who would you rather have as a coach of Bafana?
No one. The reason is, Marumo, I have a problem here because South African coaches and the media alike have come out to say, you know what, Safa, do not appoint a foreign coach. We don't need a foreign coach. And the moment you have PSL coaches also saying that it's not going to help us, you have problems because any national team coach needs the support of PSL players. PSL coaches. So already.
So what you're saying here is that you'd rather go for a local coach.
Listen to the masses.
But my thing is with that idea or with that way of thinking, Sipho, is that, look, Bafana is not going to be playing internally. It's not going to be playing here in South Africa against local teams. It will be playing against international teams. So someone with international experience, I think, contributes a lot in how the team eventually shapes up.
They said they engaged local coaches to come up with a philosophy, a South African philosophy. They say the document is ready. They are just going to impose it on the technical director. But my point here is that if they have engaged local coaches to say, how should South Africans play? And local coaches have said, no, you know what, we need to play with flair, we need to do this and that. How is it then possible that this very same local coaches are not good enough to roll out and implement the philosophy that they have recommended? But
my thing is now here, Sipho, is one. My problem is one here, is that, look, the past two coaches we had for the national team were both locally. Pitso Musiman and Gordon Nigerson. And in your view, how did they fare?
They've done better than most of the foreign coaches, and I think that's the critical issue here. They've done better than the foreign coaches, except for Carlos Pereira, because Pereira came here and appreciated the special traits, special qualities of South African players, and he was able to achieve some kind of success, but it was obviously going to be limited given the fact that our players, the players that he had at hand, were not developed properly.
Just because of time, Sipho, let me just ask you this very short question. Who do you think should lead Bafana Bafana for the next 4 years?
I think
you can't say no one. We need a coach.
I think any local coach.
Who comes to mind?
Steve Compella, perhaps. I think his presentation before Godinigusent was appointed was spot on, and I mean, we were all surprised to see that he was actually not appointed as the Bafana Bafana coach. Then Godinigusent got the job. But perhaps we need to go back to that presentation that was made by Steve Compella and say, can you take us forward?
Sipho, thanks a lot as always for your time.
Thanks very much, Marumo.
That was SABC Digital Sports producer Sipho Kekana engaging us on local football news, basically from Bafana Bafana to the actual game that will be happening later on between Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs.